Okay, so but you have to bear in mind that I'm a borderlander, yes? So you know that I live on this borderland between Poland and Lithuania, and I also have this outlook on our tradition from that perspective. We need this link between Asia, Africa and Europe. We don't have such a platform existing yet. Z oczyma łez pełnymi w zachodu idę kres i błogosławię ziemi szumowi zbóż i drzew.
Art has a way of bringing people together. That's something a great artist once said, that when your art can connect people and connect a great number of people, you succeeded. So poetry is art, and poetry as well can do that. So in a world that is ravaged by war, by division, poetry is also a means of bringing people together, uniting people together, uniting their stories together. And today we are joined by a curator of an art collective, a poetry collective that is doing exactly that. The name of this collective is Café Europa, and my guest today is Weronika Czyżewska from Poland. I got your name right, yeah?
Yes, you did. Hello, hi.
Hi. Welcome to Kenya, first of all. I know you're here for the Asian Literary Festival. Before we jump into everything to do with Café Europa and everything, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about Poland so that we can understand where you're coming from.
Okay, it will be my pleasure. So Poland is a country in Central Europe with very rich history and also a great love to literature and poetry. It's a place where the cultural exchange was happening for centuries, but it's also a place which is now experiencing a lot of uncertainty with the war started by Russia in our region. It's a country which is very much open for new connections. So for me, this trip and travel to Kenya for the first time, it's a great joy. And I really hope, because that's something also about us, that when we started, we really want to go deep, explore and make it a long-term and real connection. So that's why we are here, and that's what we are looking for here.
So tell us about, first of all, what's your connection with poetry as an individual?
I'm not a poet myself. I'm a member of a Borderland Foundation team, which is an institution, but also a circle of people established by my parents more than 35 years ago on Polish-Lithuanian borderland in a small city called Sejny. For you in Nairobi, it will be a really small city. So imagine it's 6,000 people living there.
Okay.
And the foundation was started by artists, not only poets, but poets among them, people of theater and art, who had this belief that on the verge of 89 and 90, which in Poland was a transformation from communist system to democratic one, their duty and the biggest challenge, not only for them, but for culture, is to go to small communities and build in everyday life the future for those places. And they believe very much that culture has a significant role in that, in building future of the communities. And I was raised with that work, and I'm continuing it and developing it the way I can. Also in today's global society. So I'm also using these experiences of poetry and art, and traveling and looking for connections in different parts of the world. The thing I've learned from the core team of Borderland Foundation, it's that culture matters, and it's a way to change the world and to make it the way we would like it to be. And poetry and literature has a special place in it. So my effort goes into finding poets, writers who share this point of view and take them for this adventure of going to different places, meeting different people, and creating different global communities.
When did poetry first capture you? And what was that poem?
Very early in my childhood. You know, my father is a poet, and you can say that everything he does has poetry in it. And I very quickly started to read and also perform poetry. That was my way into it. I don't know, probably you do have it, but in Central Europe, this tradition of reciting poetry, of learning it by heart, and then in front of people giving it your own interpretation is very strong. So that was my way between poetry and theater.
Oh, so it wasn't reading poetry, it was hearing poetry and reciting it.
And reciting it, yes.
All right. So whose poetry was it that captured you? Your father's poetry?
No, yes, but not only. The very important poet for all of us is Czesław-Miłosz. He's a Nobel Prize winner, Polish poet and writer. And he was very much connected with this place I've told you about, this borderland between Poland and Lithuania, and this small community that we are working in now. He was born not far from there. And the place and the space for our activities there is actually an old manor house, which used to belong to his family. It's called Krasnogruda. A very beautiful place. We renovated it and established our center there. And his poetry and his way of thinking was something that very much inspired us. He was the last citizen of what we are calling the Grand Duchy of Lithuania. So once in Central Europe, there was a bigger entity, a bigger country called Grand Duchy of Lithuania. And only in the 20th century it was divided into national states. And he was the one still remembering and culturally connecting with this common culture, common history, and common identity, which for us today, in a very divided world, it's an interesting way of understanding the community, you know? Like the whole concept of the borderland that we are working with. You know, sometimes we are mistakenly translated into English as the Borderland Foundation. But the whole difference of understanding this concept is exactly in that. So borderline is a very strict line that divides. But borderland is actually a space where the borders are inside. And the whole competence is to be able to live and to thrive with these borders inside. That was a Czesław-Miłosz identity, and his writing very much conveyed that. And for us to have this concept in today's world and think how with poetry, with culture, with different kind of educational activities, make our community feel borderland and not as strict lines of division, but as a enriching experience of the community. That's the biggest challenge for us, and you can say our mission.
What do you think of the politics of Europe right now, the European Union and everything? Is Europe increasingly coming together as Europe, or is Europe fracturing into borderlines?
This is very painful questions. I would love to say that the latter, because we really need that. This is the historical momentum in which either we come together or we will pay a huge price for it. But our experience in Europe, and I hope that we are overcoming it now, is that after the collapse of the communism, especially in Poland, for example, we had this solidarity movement that was leading to peaceful change from the communist regime to the democratic society. And it was a huge achievement of solidarity between people. But it was oriented on getting freedom from the regime. And what happened to us? We really got freedom, but on the way we lost solidarity. And now with the situation in our region, with the war with Russia, with the struggle of thinking about Europe as a whole, this is again our lesson and our challenge. Can we regain that feeling of solidarity?
Okay. So then tell me about how you now took over the curation at Café Europa after your father.
So, the idea for the Café Europa is very simple. It comes from...
Your father was the curator originally?
Yes, he started the first poetic group, which then was traveling with the Café Europa. And when they were thinking about the name for the initiative, Café Europa is cafes. In general, in Europe, represents this time of, the verge of 19th and 20th century, when there was a really cultural boom in Europe, and where poets, but not only poets, also writers or politically engaged people were meeting in cafes, discussing, and actually all the cultural life was happening there in small places like cafes. So the idea was to come back to this tradition of culture of dialogue, of culture of encounter, discussion, and free speech, but take it further. That's why Europe in the name, yes? So we are not thinking only about our places and spaces, but broader. We are referencing the tradition which was already there, but thinking what we can do with it next.
Briefly, when you say bringing back the culture of free speech, of conversation, had that culture been interrupted or ended?
So that goes to the moment when the Café Europa was created. It was the beginning of the 90s, where in Europe the war in former Yugoslavia broke out. Former Yugoslavia is located on the Balkans, so southern part of Europe. It was also this time when communism regime collapsed. And societies which were living together for centuries started to form the national states. And it resulted in the very bloody, horrific conflict between them, actually between neighbors. Which led to the few years of horror there. The war after which no one felt victorious. The rest of us, of Europe, was watching it because we were all feeling that that was something that could also happen to us. The thing about the war was also that the first victim in that all conflicts was the common space, was were people who were representing this broader identity than just national. So the very natural impulse was to regain that space, even a little, even if it means, to put few tables and just meet with few people who are willing to talk to you. It was already enough. It was already feeling like a victory. So the Café Europa was back then about that, about bringing poets and writers who want to talk to each other, who want to exchange, and who want to ask these difficult questions, how to live after the experience like this. My father generation, let's say, who started that tradition, they are calling themselves the Bosnian generation. So poets who were kind of formed by this experience of Yugoslav war. But our generation now, today, after more than 30 years, we also feel that at this moment when we are now, this space of common, of encounter, of free expression is also shrinking for different reasons, maybe. But this effort to sometimes create ad hoc in different places, this intimate atmosphere, called it a cafe atmosphere, to just be together, to be present, and to exchange what we have the most precious, so art and our spoken word, has a great meaning. And that's what we are doing. We are trying to create these conditions for it, and to inspire people to be a part of it. That's why we travel. And each time we get to a place, we are first of all looking for people around us who can join. So you said that we have this collective of Café Europa. It's partly true because there are people who are permanently involved in it. But the other truth is that we are looking for others to join us. So to collective to grow as big as possible. And there is nothing that would make us happier than see that same initiatives will, appear and continue the activities that we do. So here, when we are coming to Kenya, to Nairobi, our first instinct was to look for poets, writers, artists who would like to join us and co-create the Café Europa space with us. I know that today it sounds... so we have the Asian Literary Festival in Africa, and we have Café Europa as a part of it. But see, that's the thing in our global world now. We need this link between Asia, Africa, and Europe. We don't have such a platform existing yet. And if this Café Europa space in which we will meet even for, 2 hours to get to know each other, I prepared the publication, a book which will collect our poetry and which each of us will take from that meeting. And I will hope and I will look forward to what will happen next between us because of that.
All right. So you've been doing these for how many years now?
So Café Europa is functioning for 30 years. I've been doing it for 15.
Okay. So you took it immediately after?
No, I first...
Or was there a period when it wasn't existing anymore?
No, that's also the interesting thing. There was never a period when it stopped, We, as a Borderland Foundation, are doing... so our main activities are very local. dedicated to the local community every day
in Poland.
work, yes, on this Poland-Lithuanian borderland. But very quickly...
Is the Borderland Foundation an NGO?
Yes, and also a local cultural center. So we have this double legal entity. We are an independent NGO, but we are also a local cultural center supported by the local government, which is also...
And Café Europa is part of the Borderland
Foundation work, so this NGO part. That very quickly, you know, these experiences that we have working with the very particular, very small and very local context started to be relevant also for the international activities. So the big part of our work is also in different regions of Europe. We work a lot on the Caucasus. We work a lot in the Balkans, but we work also on the borderlands in other places, like in United States, in Asia, or Middle East. We used to, because this concept of borderland, it's something that many of us can refer to.
So what do you do when you go to these borderlands in the Middle East, in the US?
Very often we work with people like us, so engaged in the work with local communities and using art and culture as a tool for education and social change. Sometimes we bring our own programs, sometimes we support the local one. We call this work a bridge building work. So we have this network of bridge builders and people who are creating something which we are calling small centers of the world. This is also another way of understanding the borderland concept. That in this very diverse, very fast and very dangerous global world, the biggest change that we can bring is through building our own small centers of the world, places that we want to live in, the communities that we feel safe in, and the communities which are becoming truly centers, even though they can be small and peripheral, because of our effort, because of our love to that place, and because of our love to the community. So this is the biggest international program that we have, the network of small centers of the world. The second one, because this is something also that we do always, we don't separate the practice from the reflection. So we do a lot of practical, educational and artistic activities, but we also invest very much in the reflection. So we are a publishing house. We are translating books, publishing them. We have a mobile academy, which as Café Europa and sometimes together with Café Europa is traveling to different places, bringing scholars, intellectuals and activists together. It's called Dilemma Academy. And we have also different programs with partners in other places of the world, always somehow built around this concept of the borderland, small center of the world and bridge building work.
Where were you in the Middle East?
10 years ago.
No, where? Which country?
Israel. We were working in the Galilee part, connecting and doing some work with schools in Galilee, Palestinian.
Galilee is in Palestine? Or
no, it's in Israel, but it's a bordering part.
Palestine.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So were you working with the Israelis or with the Palestinians? With
Israeli, Palestinians and Druze communities. Druze. There is a religious and cultural minority also living there.
Druze?
Druze, yes. Okay. Yes.
All right. So what did that work entail?
Mostly work with teachers and school students. We brought our music program. We have a klezmer orchestra. We brought our artistic program, which is animation film studio. So we are also working on film animations with them, very much based on collecting family stories, because a lot of work that we do is also intergenerational. So we are trying to work together with children, but also their parents and grandparents, and involve them all in the creative work that we do.
All right. So what's after periods of observing the outcome of your work, what do you feel is the outcome of your work in these communities?
You ask about Israel particularly?
Not Israel, anywhere, like in general. Like, what do you see being the flowering of the work that you're doing?
So first of all, in our own community, yes, the main important thing is, Sene are a really small city. So usually young people are dreaming about leaving it and going to the bigger cities for their career and never coming back. So the main outcome is that, of course, they are leaving and looking for their own places or their own career, but this never come back part is not there anymore, because after years of working with us on the history of the place, of getting to know your own place and community, they just leave stronger because they know from where they are coming from. They have this connection with the place and the community. I think they are also much more resistant to all the rhetorics or all the manipulations that today's world is throwing at us. Their parents and grandparents are staying with the sense that the youngsters are, in this sense, coming back to the small center of the world. Yes.
All right. For the audience of this show, could you paint Poland for us?
Paint it. Okay, I'm much better with words than painting. You can ask the youngsters who are working with me.
No, I mean like give us a picture of Poland. Yes. Like, what's the history of Poland? What's the big cities? What do people do for a living in Poland? What food do you eat? What's the culture? What music do you listen to? Like, help us understand Poland.
Okay, so, but you have to bear in mind that I'm a borderlander, yes? So you know that I live on this borderland between Poland and Lithuania, and I also have this outlook on our tradition from that perspective. But what I can tell you about Poland, it's a very beautiful area. We have a lot of beautiful forests. We have beautiful lakes and mountains as well. So Poland is actually located between the sea and the mountain region. We are diverse in the sense of cultural heritage. So this whole area, which today is Poland, Lithuania, Ukraine, Belarus, once was one country and one commonwealth, and you can feel that in the culture and tradition. We love literature very much. We love theater and culture. In terms of food, well, our cuisine is a bit heavy, but I think that you will find things that you like in it.
What's the food in Poland? What's the staple food?
Well, we eat still a lot of meat, potatoes. That's our thing. But more and more vegetables, of course. And our cuisine is changing also. trying to link this traditional one with the new flavors and new things that are coming to us.
Flavors from which country?
Well, today in Poland you can meet, especially in bigger cities like Warsaw, migrants from all over the world. So each cultural tradition which is coming is leaving something also in the cuisine tradition. What else you could like about Poland? A lot of interesting things going on in theater and music. We are very much looking forward to discovering the music scene in Nairobi, but I think that improvised music, for example, could be the thing that connects us. What else would you like to know?
What about the history of Poland?
Well, it was violent in terms of we experienced 2 second
Actually,
World Wars.
when was Poland formed as a state?
Well, so the state was created in the 10th century.
Oh, that's a long time ago. Was it a kingdom?
It was a kingdom.
Okay.
And then in the
did it have the borders it have right now?
No, very different ones. And especially, you know, in the 15th century, this Commonwealth I've told you about was created. And since
the Commonwealth of
Poland, Lithuania, that was the official name, but actually, to be correct, it should have in the title not only Poland and Lithuania, but also Ukraine and Belarus.
Okay.
And for the more than 3 centuries, we were one country. And then we were invited by Russia, Prussia at that time, and Austria.
Is it Russia, Prussia? I thought Prussia was Germany.
Yes, yes. At that time, it was Prussia and Austria. And we were divided between them.
What do you mean invited?
Invaded. So they invaded us and then divided our country between themselves. And for 123 years, Poland ceased to exist at all. And then we had this history of insurrections. So we were trying to regain our independence.
Revolutions?
Through 19th century, unsuccessfully. And only during the First World War and after the First War, the modern Polish state was again created.
With new borders,
With new borders, with the independent Lithuania, independent state. And then there was this interwar period when we had 20 years of more or less stability. And again, the Second World War came and we were again invaded by the Germans and Russians and divided in half. And after the Second World War, we became a part of the communist bloc.
The entire country or West and East?
The entire country. We were not included in the communist Russia. We were a satellite country, so-called. So our situation was different than Soviet republics, but still we were in the same bloc. And after 89 and solidarity movement and our peaceful revolution, we transformed into a democratic Republic of Poland.
When did Poland have an industrial revolution?
Yes, but it was during this period when we were divided between the empires. So the 19th century on Polish land, the revolution, of course, happened.
Through Prussia?
Yes.
So I mean, like, you know, the introduction of capitalism, mechanization of tools, agriculture, everything to become more modern.
Yes. So the factories and yes, that happened during the 19th century. And capitalism came after 89 with the democratic transformation.
So you were communist for a while during the after World War II.
Yes.
All right. So does that a lot of the people who were alive during the when it was a communist country are still alive right now, right?
Yes.
So how does that work? Are people now in the way they think, are they like individualists, like in capitalism, or do they still have the values of the communist system?
That's not an easy answer to that, because it is a generational thing. Yes, so for the generation of because very early during the communist time, we had, of course, generations in the 40s and 50s that very much believed in the communist system. And we have a lot of interesting intellectuals who really believed that this is the better future for the country. But quite early, in the 60s and 70s, it was already obvious that the ideas that the communism was spreading are not being realized. And the gap between the propaganda and official line of the party and between what society was truly feeling and believing in was growing very fast. So that is also a very interesting experience. Yes. So for many years, there is a whole generation raised in a time where the distance between official line and what people were in the families or communities really feeling and believing is huge, which has also a huge impact, yes, because when after 89 there was this moment of identifying again with the government, you can see that it was not that very easy, because the gap and this way of thinking that everything that comes from the government and comes from the official media is not to be believed. But already a generation of my parents, so people who were born in the late 50s, they had this experience of underground culture. So they were meeting, spreading the press, the magazines in the underground, in the second circle. Also, it's very much about Polish culture at that time. It was also developed in the underground. It was very alternative, and it was also built on islands, between people who were thinking the same way and resisting the official line. And after the 89, the huge challenge and the biggest effort was to get out of that islands and to make culture and education again immersed in the whole society. And it's still a challenge. We also do have some kind of nostalgia for communist time, especially in terms of, economic situation. So there are these kind of feelings of groups which were very much excluded in the 90s in this transformation time and kind of felt left out from it. What else?
So I can already see the place from which Café Europa is emerging. So Café Europa is very much a political project.
You can say so, but not in terms of following any political line, but rather political in terms of not avoiding the most important issues. You see, this is also something which can be a legacy of communism in our part of the world, that people, especially people of culture or of reflection, they don't really want to get involved in politics. Because there is this way of thinking that it will make you dirty doesn't matter what you do, yes, and eventually you will lose yourself, which has huge consequences, yes, because we are still struggling to have these kind of people in politics who really want to make change. I'm not a person who can be involved directly in politics. But I also believe that there is no way of avoiding these topics anymore. And that our responsibility as citizens, as artists, as people who want to contribute to to our life on the community level, but also on global level, is to take that responsibility. And in this way, yes, you are right. It's a political, in terms of we are not avoiding it. We want to meet people, we want to hear them, and we want to express our concerns and look for solutions. Today, I believe that more and more we need to do it also on global level. But we cannot start from that. I'm looking for Café Europa, I'm looking for people who are already engaged in their own communities, who have strong voices, who can tell something from the experience of being involved in their own places. And when they enter this global platform or global community, they already can bring this experience.
All right. So how did you come to get involved with the Asian Literary Festival and with Alex Lerito, who's organizing it?
So it's, of course, through interpersonal relations. I've met Pramudit Rupasinthe, who is a Sri Lankan writer, when I was traveling with my father in Sri Lanka. And when I learned about his efforts to build this platform, it's called an Asian Literary Review, to bring together writers and poets from Asia and seek connections with other continents, I thought that it's already something that it's worth supporting and getting engaged in. And then he told me that it's not only him, that there are people in Africa, in Asia, and in other places who are looking for these connections with Europe and are curious about the concept of Café Europa. And when Alex contacted me and said that, look, I'm organizing for the first time in Nairobi this new literary festival, and I want to invite people who will be interested in literature and in meeting, I thought, why not? It's a good place for Café Europa then, if there are already people who are doing this work. And if we can be useful with this format, then let's do it. And that's why we came. For now, with the group of 5 from Poland, amazing poets and writers. Julia Fiedorczuk is with us, Katarzyna Szweda and Jakub Przoniak, and also a musician, Mikołaj Poncyljusz, my husband. And for us, we are, of course, bringing our own poetry and music, and very much looking forward to learning more about music and literature here.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. All right. You said you're not a poet, but you recite poetry?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to recite a poem as we wind up?
Oh my God, I'm not prepared.
No, you recite poetry, so it's here, right? Your favorite one is here?
Let me see.
Or do you do it in Polish?
I do it in Polish. No, I couldn't do it in English, but I can do a part in Polish if you like.
We
yes?
do it in Polish.
But
we will feel the emotion.
Oh, I will see. Z oczyma łez pełnymi w zachodu idę kres i błogosławię ziemi, szumowi zbóż i drzew. Przyszedłem tu z daleka, gdzie słońce jest bez krwi, gdzie na nic nikt nie czeka, w zamknięte patrząc drzwi. Wyrwałem się z paszczęki zatrutych trupich miast, gdzie kona trud wśród męki, gdzie nikt nie widział gwiazd.
That's deep. I don't know what you say, but it's deep. What did you say in the poem?
Oh, it was a poem by one of the Polish writers and poets, Kornel Makuszyński. It's actually the first poem I've ever learned by heart. So it just came naturally to...
What does he say? What does he say?
Oh, it's about the apocalyptic vision and the feeling that something is coming and that we have to prepare for it.
Wow. Is that something you feel? That something is coming?
I feel that something is already happening and that this is our time to, through solidarity and empathy, get stronger to resist it.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming to the show and sharing your experience and sharing about Café Europa, your views, and even some history of Poland. I think I've learned quite a lot. I hope you as the viewer has learned a lot as well. And best of all, wishes in everything you're doing.
Thank you so much. And see you at the Café Europa.
Yes, see you. So there you have it. This was Conversations in Literature. We were with Weronika. I will not dare to pronounce her second name. So we were with Weronika Czyżewska, and this is Conversations in Literature. My name is Miyamoto Muswahili. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, do so. And if you have any comments and thoughts to offer, please leave them on the comment section. We're going to respond. And Conversations in Literature is sponsored by Nairobi Academic Press. Until next time.